Welcome back, listeners, to Bearing the Light, a documentary project and resource for all things Italian esoterica, folk religion, and Western esotericism. I am your host, Salvatore, and tonight we discuss the Black Madonna again and her connection with the Hindu Deva Kali and a saint whom the Romani call Santa Sara la Kali. Before I deep dive into the material, I want to make the disclaimer now that in no way am I stating that Kali and the Black Madonna are the same, that they derive from the same source, are contingent on each other, or that one has influenced the other. I am only presenting this material to elucidate a cross-cultural comparison between Kali and the Black Madonna, presenting them here as analogs and sharing some of my own thoughts based on research and my own experiences. Following up from a previous episode, I want to restate again the words of Andrew Harvey. The Black Madonna is the transcendent Kali Mother, the black womb of light, out of which all worlds are always arising, into which they fall, the presence behind all things, the darkness of love, and the loving unknowing into which the child of the mother goes when his or her illumination is perfect. I really love this quote by Andrew Harvey. It really elucidates the Black Madonna and her essence, and also gets into the child, that would be the Christ child, the Christ consciousness, and that coming from the darkness and the illumination from the darkness. And that's exactly what the name Kali means. The name Kali comes from the Sanskrit root word Kal, which means both time and also black. I find it interesting, the word Kal, because it has that k sound and that ka sound, very similar to Kemet, the ancient name of Egypt, meaning the Black Lands. Not that they're the same or that they have any relationship, but I also just think that's very interesting. I am not a linguist or an etymologist by any means, but certain things like that just pop into my head, and I like to state them because I think that they're interesting. Santa Sara la Kali, as a saint, she is the matron saint of the Romani. Her annual pilgrimage takes place in France on May 24th, and worshippers of neighboring countries such as Italy and Spain also go to this sacred pilgrimage as well, the sacred site, once a year, if they feel so called. She is called La Kali, literally, La Kali, the Kali, for various reasons. But to quote the now deceased author Ronald Lee from 2001, who is a Romani Canadian writer, linguist, professor, folk musician, and activist, he said this: "If we compare the ceremonies with those performed in France at the shrine of Santa Sara, called Sara e Kali in Romani, we become aware that the worship of Kali, Durga, Sara has been transferred to a Christian figure in France to a non-existent saint called Sara, who is actually part of the Kali, Durga, Sara worship among certain groups in India." Very fascinating. Saint Sara, to recap from a previous episode, it's a long story who Saint Sara is. There's many different versions to the legend. Some believe, and depending on the current of thought, that Saint Sara, she came on a rudderless ship with the three Marys, and she landed in France. It's a very summed up version of the legend. Some believe that that was the daughter of Mary Magdalene. Others do not. But in this case, we're just talking about Saint Sara in her relationship to the Romani and the identification of her as Kali. And also her as another analog within Europe with the Black Madonna as well. It has been assumed that when the Romani people left India, several Hindu practices such as the worship of Kali were applied to the saint. After entering Christian Europe, these practices were transferred to the saint. Naturally, as a non-Christian goddess, obviously was not really welcomed within Christian Europe. Each year, her devotees take a ritual bath in the Mediterranean Sea to cleanse themselves during the pilgrimage of Sainte Sarah Marie de la Mer. She is also invoked for petitions of love and is considered a mother of the sea. Sacred foods are prepared for her and colored ribbons are tied to her with prayers to form her clothing. You see similar things also with Black Madonnas that are of the Virgin Mary. Similar practices you'll see applied to her too. She's also called the Star of the Sea, Mother of Waters, and things like that as well. Both Kali and the Black Madonna may be represented as Bina or Saturn in Kabbalah. This is the Hermetic Kabbalah I'm really referring to. Modern Kabbalah. Through her, all physical matter is birthed, and she is associated with time. She is also represented by Yod, or the moon. Again, Hermetic Kabbalah, our modern New Age Kabbalah, reflecting within herself the other Sephirot and the sexual force. Kali is sometimes associated with cremation grounds and thus the dead. The Black Madonna also is associated with the dead. At the Cathedral of La Madonna delle Neve, a crypt is below where dead bodies were cleansed and prepared for proper burial. Flesh was removed and bones were thrown into a consecrated well. An image of the Madonna is shown in a sea ship carrying the souls to the afterlife. This was really interesting when I was there because nobody knew about this crypt until 10 years ago when I went there. And I guess a brick fell down and the priest called the local archaeologists, or they were interested, and then they started excavating and they found it was a secret crypt. In here, it's an upside down ship. The whole chamber was built like an upside down ship, and you have Mary at the back, and this was built around the 4th century. And so the belief during that time at the cathedral was that the Black Madonna, she was carrying the souls to the afterlife, just like Charon, the ferryman, to the afterlife. Kali is also known as the slayer of demons. She also bears weapons such as a trident in her hand. Again, this is similar to the Black Madonna, not with the trident, but you'll see the Madonna in general. Sometimes she just has a spear, sometimes tipped with a cross. In the depiction of the harrowing of hell from the 12th century, an illustration from Saint Swithun Psalter, the Winchester Psalter, it shows Christ as a demon slayer holding a spear. As well, she's got the spear in her hand. She's also frequently depicted slaying a serpent atop a world and a moon. If you see different depictions of her, it's either very subtle, or she's just on a snake, on top of the world or the moon. Sometimes you'll see this as well. From Contingent Magazine, I would like to read an excerpt from one of their articles. I'll put the link in the description too. This goes, there was a legend about Philip, who was an Italian knight who mocked pilgrims en route to the shrine at Rocamadour. As he lays awake at night, a swarm of demons appears before him, and he experiences a divine vision. The Virgin of Virgins appeared, more fierce-looking than usual. She had a wooden switch in her hand. Hooking it around the knight's neck and tugged at him, she intimidates him thus: "Follow me to my house at Rocamadour. Otherwise, you will not escape from the demon's assault. Look at the demons raging. They will vent their malice on you if they are allowed to. They are ready to spill innocent blood. They seize souls and subject them to agonizing tortures. They are not happy unless they are committing evil, and they rejoice in the wickedest of deeds. The downfall of the good causes bring them joy. They are unjust and worthless adversaries who rush to devour those whom they find unarmed and unprotected. Both Kali and the Black Madonna are fierce and powerful. They are not concerned with modesty. They reflect the ego. They are void. They are the destroyers of ego. They reflect back at you what you are. And through them comes consciousness, the Christ consciousness. Call it the Horus consciousness. Call it the solar logos, the divine logic, the pure logic, the solar logic. That's what comes forth through the Black Madonna, through the Kali. It is the darkness. Doesn't matter which one it is. It's the same message from the East and the West. I don't really like to apply East and West because to me, there's so much more in common across the whole world, and it's only on the outside that looks different. The true existential truth to all of it is the same. In a previous episode, I spoke about the relationship, not only with Kali, but also with Pombajira, Babylon, Astaroth as well. I made these associations as they are similar manifestations of a similar force. Not that they're the same, not that they originate from the same source, but they have a similar message. They have more of an animal nature. It's something closer to the humankind than this virginal, pure, white Madonna that's clean, porcelain-like, or the like manifestations of that. There are many cultures. However, unlike those pure virginal forces, they are more teachers on a more rugged path. They want to take you down a path, if you're ready, that is more, not more challenging, not more destructive, not more painful, but something that is going to be in the here and now. It doesn't have to do with anything celestial. It's not something overly philosophical. It's something that's very practical. That's what they're trying to show you. They're trying to show you yourself. They're trying to show you the here and now. They're trying to show you everything that you are. And by showing you what you are, sometimes we really feel horrible because there's things we don't even realize about ourselves that we don't like. And that's what they're trying to show you. That's all they're doing. They're just reflecting to you. That's all they are. It's like the black mirror. They're like a black mirror, a black obsidian mirror, reflecting back at you what you really are, showing you your inner demons. They're showing you that. This is why the Black Madonna is called the Queen of Demons, because she is. She's showing you back what your inner demons are. She's revealing back to you that anger, that feelings of malice, or whatever the negative emotions might be that's plaguing you deep down in that subconscious mind of yours. And she wants to bring out that Christ consciousness within you. To quote parts of Thunder Perfect Mind, I am the whore and I am holy. I am shameless. I am ashamed. I am strength and I am fear. I am war and I am peace. This paradoxical statement, along with the rest of Thunder Perfect Mind, to me represents the quintessential essence of Kali and the Black Madonna. They are a paradox within themselves, and this is what makes them dangerous to the constructed system we live in. They're all about bringing you out of the so-called matrix, as I like to put it. They want to bring you out of what you think you are, going back to the ego. They want to bring you out of the pattern that you've put yourself in. In the words of Blavatsky, darkness is the one true actuality, the basis and the root of light, without which the latter could never manifest itself, nor even exist. Light is matter, and darkness, pure spirit. H.P. Blavatsky from The Secret Doctrine. Thanks for listening on another episode of Bearing the Light. I'm your host, Salvatore, and remember, keep questioning and always bear the light.